Good day, everyone. I'm Carl Pestaño, reporting iterative conception of set theory. Iterative concept of set theory introduced by Gödel views set as constructed in stages. Kita, kita ba?
Yes, nakikita.
Yes. Sa pinaka-bottom is yung tinatawag natin yung ornaments or empty set, which is denoted at ABC. Then the next stage is called the set of ornaments, which is the set of ABC, which is set of B, set of C, set of AB, set of AC, set of BC, and set of ABC. Then the last, and then the next stage is the set of the previous set. This hierarchy approach prevent paradox like Russell's and ensuring set are well-founded and avoid circular definition, unlike Cantor's early conception, which focuses on the set as collection of homogeneous elements. Next slide, please. In addition of set theoretical paradox, there are semantic paradoxes. Example of Russell, Richards, Kognig's, and the liar paradox, response variety. In the Russell developed new logical system ramified theory to solve these paradoxes. For example, here example, we have three bookshelf this denoted as bookshelf A, B, and C. In bookshelf A, these are the simple books about basic things, apples, orange, and apple. Then the second books naman, related siya sa first book. These books over here is about the first order book. Then for the last bookshelf naman, is related siya sa bookshelf B. So, to make it simple, Russell ramified type set theory is like the very strict librarian who organized book into different categories. For example, another example is, halimbawa, fruit. Katulad lang, orange. Anong mga properties ng orange? Ano ba, set A is denoted as orange. Then sa set B naman, ano ang mga properties na nandun sa orange? Then sa set C, anong properties ang nasa loob ng properties na nasa orange? Then Sarmelo believed many paradoxes could be have avoided by working with the restricted axiomatic system. Next slide, please. In 1904, Gyula Koenig tried to prove that continuum or the set of real numbers wasn't big as Cantor thought. He used to he used a theorem by Bernstein, but it had a mistake or a flaw. Later on, Felix Hausdorff fixed the mistake, leading to Kognig's theorem. This theorem limits the possible of size of continuum, but it doesn't fully solve the problem. For example, neto is may 5 boys and 5 girls tayo na partner, pair them all by 5 maximum. Then the smallest number of the student we need to remove so that no dance pair can be formed. For example, if we all remove the boys, so the minimum vertex cover up is 5. Incognitive theorem say that in this scenario, the maximum number of dance pair maximum matching up will be always equal to the minimum number of the student we need to remove this to stop any pairing. Next slide. So sa axiom of choice, proven by Sarmelo stated that any of set a non-empty set, there are six exist set of an element in common each. This led to whisper debate about this acceptability with proponents like Sters, huh? Sierpinski showing its utility in analysis. The axiom is innovative consequences such as Bra- ano yan? Banach-Tarski paradox arranging wait, pakita ko lang. This paradox says a circle turn turn in many pieces can form another two circles like that. Okay. Next, please. For a long time, the action was treated as the questionable hypothesis because this is a set in the set of non-explicit set. By the 1930s, ito na yung nilabas ni Gödel, yung iterative concept theory, which proved that the relative of its relative consist, cons, constants, bug na nga. So the controversy stem from the fact that axiom choice doesn't specify how to make these choices. It's merely assert that much choice, that such as a choice can be made. This non-constructive nature has led some with consequences in philosophical debate. Last slide, please. So in response to the paradoxes and foundation issues, Zermelo developed the axiom system for set theories, which resolved many paradoxes and allowed the theory of cardinals and ordinal to advance. Ano ba to? Hindi ko na i-explain masyado kasi i-explain din siya ng next reporter. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I will be discussing the rubric Century by Zermelio and Goodell. In the period of 1930, the rubric century was still understood to include topics in topology and the theory of functions. Although Cantor, Dedekind, and Zermelo had left that stage behind to concentrate on pure set theory. For mathematicians at large, this would still take a long time. So next po. So, the International Congress of Mathematicians, ICM, is one of the most prestigious events in the field of mathematics. Ito ay ginaganap every 4 years since 1897. Ito ang nagsiserve as global gathering for mathematicians para mag-discuss ng latest research, exchange ideas, and present their findings. Thus, at the first International Congress of Mathematicians in 1987, keynote speeches given by Hadamard and Hurwitz defended set theory on the basis of its importance of analysis. Around 19,000 motivated by topics in analysis, important work was done by three French experts, such as Borel in 1998, Baer in 1999, and Levesque in 1902 and 1905. Next po. Their work inaugurated the development of descriptive set theory by extending Cantor's studies on definable sets of real numbers, in which he had established that the continuum hypothesis. So, ano nga ba muna yung continuum hypothesis bago tayo mag-progress sa descriptive set theory? So, the continuum hypothesis, CH, is a famous problem in set theory, a branch of mathematical logic. It concerns the possible sets of infinite sets, specifically the cardinality sizes of the continuum, the set of the real numbers, and the set of natural numbers. So the Aleph, the cardinality of the set of natural numbers representing the smallest infinity. And C, the cardinality of the continuum, the cardinality of the real numbers which is strictly larger than Aleph. So yung C, yung the cardinality of the continuum, ay mas malaki kaysa sa Aleph. The question is whether there exists a cardinality between Aleph and the cardinality of continuum, or whether these are the only two possible sizes of infinite sets at this level. So, the continuum hypothesis ay nanatiling unresolved and central topic and set theory, which profound implications for our understanding of the infinite sets and the structure of the mathematical universe. So, descriptive set theory is the study of certain kinds of definable sets of real numbers which are obtained from single kinds, like the open set and the closed sets, by well understood operations like complementation or projection. And in mathematics, particularly in topology and analysis, open sets and closed sets are fundamental concepts that help define the structure of spaces, such as real numbers, Euclidean spaces, or more abstract topological spaces. In summary, ang open sets ay hindi nagko-contain ng boundary points and allow for small neighborhoods around each of their points. Ang closed sets naman ay kabaliktaran ng open sets kung saan nagko-contain siya ng boundary points and limit points. So next po. So Borel sets, the first hierarchy of definable sets which introduced by Emil Borel in 1898 and are obtained from open sets by countable union and complementation. The Borel sets were the first hierarchy of definable sets, introduced by 1988 book of Emil Borel. So consider R the set the set of real numbers with that standard topology. Open sets are those that can be expressed as unions of open intervals. The Borel omega algebra and the real set of numbers is the collection of all sets that can be created from open intervals using countable unions, countable intersection, and complements. So, for example, we have open sets. Any open interval like set A with set B is a Borel set. Closed sets with set A with set B is also a Borel set because it can be written as the complement of the open set in negative infinite set A and positive infinite B set B. So, meron din tayong countable sets. The set of rational numbers, Q, is the Borel set and the set of real numbers as it can be written as countable union of closed points. Complex sets, many other sets, such as the Cantor sets, are also Borel sets. So, next po. So, Lebesgue in 1905, he showed that the hierarchy of Borel sets has levels for all countable ordinals and analyzed the Baire function as counterpart of the Borel sets. So, in 1905, pinag-aralan ni Lebesgue ang Borel sets sa Approaching Memoir, kung saan nakalista yung mga kaganapan sa buhay ni Borel, showing na ang hierarchy ay mayroong level of countable ordinals and analyzing the Baire functions as counterparts of the Borel sets. So, ang main aim ng descriptive set theory is to find structural properties common to all definable sets. For instance, the Borel sets were shown to have perfect set property. If uncountable, they have perfect set check. So, kung ang Borel sets ay nagpapakita na may perfect set property, kung hindi siya nabibilang, meron silang perfect subset. And thus, to comply with the continuum hypothesis. So, naalala natin kanina na ang continuum hypothesis ay merong aleph null at may cardinality of the continuum na nagpapakita na mas malaki ang C, the cardinality of the continuum, sa aleph. Next po. Ayan. So, descriptive set theory aims to identify common structural properties of definite sets such as the Borel sets, which were shown to have the perfect set and comply with the continuum hypothesis. Next po ulit. So, this result was established in 1916 by Hausdorff and by Alexandrov, working independently. Other important regularity properties studied in DST are the property of being Lebesgue measurable and the so-called property of Baire to differ from the open set by a so-called meager set or set of first category. Also, and the crucial time was the study of the analytic sets, namely the continuous images of Borel sets, or equivalently the projections of Borel sets. The young Russian mathematician Michael Suslin found a mistake in Lebesgue's 1905 memoir when he realized that the projection of a Borel set is not Borel in general, by Suslin, 1917. So, nakakita lang pagkakamali ang Russian mathematician na si Michael Suslin sa memoir ni Lebesgue na-realize niya na ang projection ng Borel set is hindi siya Borel in general. However, he was able to establish that the analytic sets too possess the perfect set property and thus verify the the continuum hypothesis. By 1923, Nikolai Lusin and Wacław Szyperski were studying the co-analytic sets, and this was to lead them to new hierarchy of projective sets. So, sa 1923, natuklasan ni Nikolai Lusin and Wacław Szyperski ang bagong new hierarchy of projective sets, which nagsisimula sa analytic sets ng summation of 11. Their complements, co-analytic, is the pi 11 sets, and the projections of these last sets are the summation of 12 and summation of 21 sets. Their complements pi 12, pi 21 sets, and so on. So next. During the 1920s, much work was done on these new types of sets, mainly by Polish mathematicians around Szyperski and by the Russian school of Lusin and his students. A crucial result obtained by Szyperski was that every summation of 12 and summation of 21 set is the union of Aleph 1 Borel sets. The same holds for summation of 11 sets. But this kind of traditional research on the topic would stagnate after 1940. See by Kanamori 1955. So nakita ng Polish mathematicians around Szyperski and by the Russian School of Students na ay magkaparehas ang set ng union of Aleph 1 Borel sets at ng summation of 11. However, yung ganitong klaseng traditional research ay nag-stagnate after ng 1940. Soon, Lusin, Szyperski, and their colleges were finding extreme difficulties in their work. Lusin was so much in despair that in the paper of 1925, he came to the totally unexpected conclusion that one does not know and one will never know whether the projected sets have desired regularity properties. Quoted in Kanamori 1925, page 250. So, si Lusin, Szyperski, and their colleges, nakaharap sila ng extreme difficulty sa kanilang trabaho. Si Lusin, nagsulat siya sa paper ng 1925 na nag-conclude siya ng totally unexpected na one does not know and one will never know. Na kung meron daw bang desired regularity ang projective set. Such comments are highly interesting in the light of later developments. Ito ang nagbigay daan sa mga hypotheses na nakakasagot sa lahat ng mga kaugnay na tanong. Projective determinacy in particular. So, they underscored difficult methodological and philosophical issues raised by these more recent hypotheses, namely the problem concerning the kind of evidence that back them up. So, that's the end of my report. Ito po ay papalawakin pa na susunod na report, which is si Ms. Soto. Thank you.
Hello, next slide po. So now let's talk about Lusin's 1930s book and the key concepts in this theory. So in 1930, sinulat ni Lusin yung book na Leçons sur les ensembles analytiques, kung saan dito sinamarize niya yung set theory gamit ang descriptive set theory. But dito nag-focus siya sa definable sets of fields at sa bare space. So, ang bare space ay isang mathematical space or isang set na binubuo ng infinite sequences of natural numbers. Ang bare space din ay may topology na katulad lang din ng mga irrational numbers. So, ito ay pinakilala ni Rene Baer noong 1909. And denoted siya as parang W na nakabaliktad. So, usually, yung sign na yan is called omegas. But you can see, mayroon siyang apat. So, which is 4 omegas. Though, in this case, ang tawag sa kanya ay fourth-fold product of N, which is a four-dimensional space consisting of ordered quadruples of natural numbers. So, pwede rin siyang basahin as the N raised to the power of 4 or N times N times N times N. So, to easily understand, imagine a never-ending library with infinite books. That's how they define Squarespace. So, next slide. Next is the challenges to proving the continuum hypothesis. So, early set theories tried to resolve continuum hypothesis, which posits no sets have cardinalities between the integers and the real numbers. So, however, progress was hindered by the limitations of the Zermelo-Fraenkel set theory. In 1905, Vitali shows the existence of non-Lebesgue measurable sets of reals, which suggested that continuum hypothesis couldn't be resolved by focusing on the well-behaved sets. While in 1908, Bernstein demonstrated the existence of unaccountable sets of reals without perfect subsets. This further illustrates the difficulty of resolving a continuum hypothesis within the standard framework of the previous set theories. Next slide po. During the 1920s and the 1930s, mathematicians like Suslin and Sierpinski were working on the structure of sets, particularly focusing on sets that could be defined using certain basic operations on open and closed sets. In 1920, Suslin investigated sets that could be described as analytic sets, specifically looking at the perfect set property for analytic sets. So his theorem shows that some analytic sets are quite complex in structure and cannot be nicely separated or decomposed into simpler pieces. This is significant because it exposes a level of complexity in set theory. While in 1930s, Sierpinski studied the summation or the sigma 1, 2 and the sigma 2, 1 and showed that certain sets in these classes are unions of sets of a particular kind, specifically countable unions of Borel sets. So yung Borel sets themselves came from the open sets of a topological space, and understanding how sets can be built up from them was a major part of the effort to explore the foundations of set theory. So by the 1940s, it became clear that despite all this groundbreaking result, progress had stalled. So hindi siya natigil kasi hindi na sila nag-aral or dahil nagkulang yung efforts nila to study the idea, but because yung foundational mismo yung framework mismo ng Zermelo-Fraenkel set theory or the ZFC is masyadong malalim. Siya yung naglilimit para magpatuloy pa yung pag-aaral on finding the solution about this certain problem. So yung work ni Suslin and Sierpinski, it can be considered as good as it gets or the best possible result within the framework of the Zermelo-Fraenkel theory. So, yung exploration nila, yung study nila in terms of basic operations like complements, unions, projections, etc., ay nalilimitahan ng axioms ng ZFC mismo. So, to summarize this, yung work ni Suslin and Sierpinski and ng other mathematicians in the 1920s and 1930s revealed important truths about the structure of sets theory. It was limited by the framework of CFC itself. The discovery of independence results and the technique of forcing in the 1960s showed that CFC could not answer all these questions about sets. So Gödel recognized this realization, and after World War II, he began emphasizing the additional axioms to extend the reach of set theory. In particular, the possibility of adding axiom that might result in the undecidable questions like the continuum hypothesis. This led to the philosophical conclusion that the exploration of set theory required additional axioms beyond CFC in order to continue making progress. So this shift in perspective laid the groundwork for much of the later development in set theory, including the study of large cardinals and other extensions of CFC. So, dito na pumasok yung idea for new axioms. Kasi nga, nalilimitahan na sila ng framework ng ZFC eh. So, si Gödel yung yung nakakita ng problem na to, at dito siya nag-propose ng another idea na kailangan ng new axioms or ng new idea na susundan nila on solving the set theory. So, next slide po. So here's the study of transfinite numbers and the large cardinals. So Cantor's primary contribution to mathematics was the creation of transfinite numbers, which extend the concept of cardinality beyond finite sets to infinite sets. So his discovery that there are different sizes of infinity was revolutionary. Transfinite numbers are used to classify different sizes of infinite sets, and they form a central topic in set theory. So, for example, the cardinal number, let's say Aleph null, represents the smallest infinity, while the cardinality of the set of natural numbers or the larger infinite sets have cardinalities like Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, and so on. So next is the Hausdorff's contribution and the generalized continuum hypothesis in the 1908. So Felix Hausdorff, a prominent German mathematician, he expanded Cantor's work by delving into the uncountable order types and introduced the generalized continuum hypothesis. So in CH, or in the continuum hypothesis, it is a famous conjecture in set theory that posits that there is no set whose cardinality is strictly between that of the integers or the countable and the real numbers or the uncountable. So Hausdorff's contribution generalized this idea to higher levels of infinity. In more formal terms, the generalized continuum hypothesis suggests that for any infinite cardinal, Aleph A, the next larger cardinal, Aleph A plus 1, is the cardinality of the power set of a set of cardinality Aleph A. So these deep implications for the structure of infinite sets, particularly in terms of their order and cardinalities. Now let's talk about the inaccessible cardinals and the regular cardinals. So Felix Hausdorff also introduced the concept of inaccessible cardinals, specifically the weakly inaccessible cardinal. So a cardinal is regular if it cannot be written as the sum of fewer than acts or many smaller cardinals. In other words, the cardinality of acts is too large to be decomposed into smaller parts in a simple way. So a cardinal act is inaccessible if it is a limit cardinal and is regular. Inaccessible cardinals are important in set theory because they represent a form of largeness that is beyond the reach of ordinary set-theoretic operations. So his idea of a weakly inaccessible cardinal is one that is regular, but not the successor of any smaller cardinal. This concept contributed to the study of large cardinals, which are central to the theory of infinite sets. Next is the Paul Malo and Malo cardinals in the 1910s. As early as 1910, Paul Malo advanced the study of large cardinals further by focusing on the specific hierarchy of large cardinals. His key contribution was the introduction of the Malo cardinals, which are a specific class of large cardinals that can be defined in terms of stationary subsets. So now let's talk about the slow development of the study of large cardinal. So kahit na nag-start si Malo at si Castro na mag-explore ng properties and hierarchies of large cardinals, hindi agad nag-process or nag-develop itong study na to. Mabagal yung process of study or this development of the study. But eventually, the large cardinals became a cornerstone of modern set theory, leading to new areas of research such as forcing and inner model theory. So in 1914, nag-publish si Hausdorff ng book. In an English translation, it is called The Principles of Set Theory. So this book became a key context in the development of set theory and general topology. The book introduced new ideas and helped shape the field, influencing the next generation of mathematicians, especially sa mga field of mathematics na nandoon sa book. So ano nga ba yung mga nandoon, diba? In 1930, here is the introduction of strongly inaccessible cardinals. Mathematicians like Sierpinski, Tarski, and Zermelo, the three of them independently introduced the notion of strongly inaccessible cardinals. While in 1930, Zermelo linked with models of CFC. Diba? Zermelo published a groundbreaking paper connecting strongly inaccessible cardinals with certain models of Zermelo-Fraenkel set theory. So he showed that those large cardinals or the uncountable cardinals will tie to natural models of CFC, where the power set operation is fully determined. So this connection deepened the understanding of the role of large cardinals in the structure of set theory. In the same year, Stanislaw Ulam, motivated by problems, is measured set theory from analysis. He introduced the concept of measurable cardinals. These cardinals have a measure theoretic property and are inherently strongly inaccessible. Over time, it was proven that the first inaccessible cardinal is not measurable, showing that measurable cardinal are even more exorbitant than inaccessibles. So, since mauubusan na ng time, maybe continue ko na lang sa next.